Yeah, I'm here to yell at clouds. I'm here to be a hater. I'm here to rain on your parade and tell you why Spotify Wrapped is bad. To tell you how we are being formatted, but even worse, we are formatting ourselves. We are flattening our taste, our listening habits for a company that actively hurts artists. And also, I'm going to say that Spotify Wraps are they're a lot of fun. I watch them. I read, hell, this morning I was changing over some laundry and I was watching Anthony Fantano's Wrapped. I know they're fun. I understand. And as a growing voice in the music space, I realized I should probably talk about why I don't do them. And it's frustrating because it's free engagement, you know? It's guaranteed thousands of clicks, you know? And it's fun and everyone's playing along. So why would I want to come along and piss on this parade? Because, you know, I'm not a hater. I'm a lover. And it's that I love art so much that I hate Spotify Wrapped. But don't worry, at the end, I'm going to show you my own Spotify Wrapped, what I call the Skye ripped. And I will explain to you maybe some alternatives that we might have to the Spotify Wrapped. But I will acknowledge, you know, it's fun like Netflix is fun. It's fun like Twitter. It's fun like online pornography, you know? It's fun like the soda machines with the different flavors. Oh my God, you're so free. You're so free. You have so many choices. Everything's better now. So I'm going to be giving you the technical and spiritual reasons why you should not participate in Spotify Wrapped, either as a consumer, like I do, or as a producer, like most of the people I know do. Thank you for auditing the Always Positive New Music Review Show, hosted by a French professor who's going to do both the technical and spiritual reasons. Let's start with the technical reasons. Number one, I don't have Spotify. So that's pretty simple. I don't use Spotify. I tried it. I don't like the layout. I don't like the way that it works. I don't think it's a particularly good streaming service. Usually, like the dominant service in any field is the best service, but in my experience, it's not. I guess it's just the most popular. I don't see why people do it. I don't see why they choose that as opposed to something like Tidal. And you know, the difference is huge. Right? I mean, Tidal, and I had to look this up 3 times because I couldn't believe it. Tidal, Tidal, pays 1 cent per stream on average. That's wild. 1 cent per stream? That's like actual money, as opposed to Spotify, which is 0.003 cents. So 3.5 listens on Spotify will be 1 listen on Tidal. But then the other technical reason is it's useless because I use family plans. You know, I'm a family man with a family plan. Everything's better when you bundle it together, right? So I looked up the equivalent of Spotify Wrapped, and the most listened to stuff was Billie Eilish and Travis Scott. And that makes sense. I listen to a lot of Billie Eilish and I listen to a lot of Travis Scott, but that didn't compensate for the fact that when my daughter was doing crew and she'd be practicing crew, she just listened to Fiend on repeat. So Fiend is my song of the year. And I do love Fiend. Sorry, she's in the other room eating breakfast. That's not too personal, is it?
No, it's just embarrassing.
It's not embarrassing. That's the whole thing. And we're going to get into that. It's not embarrassing. Whatever you listen to, it's not embarrassing. There's no such thing as a guilty pleasure, okay? I firmly believe that. If you think you like something and it's a guilty pleasure, you are on some level, in some way, giving into patriarchy, classism, racism. There's some kind of ism that you're giving into if you think you can have a guilty pleasure. If you like it and it brings you pleasure, do not feel guilty, you know? So anyways, that's the family plan. Spotify, Tidal, it would say, I would come on here and I would tell you, what's my most listened to music? And I would show you the picture and it would say Billie Eilish. But the other funny thing is that because my family, especially my teenage daughter, listens to Tidal all the time, I bought the family plan, but not the one with unlimited listening, which means I also use YouTube Music. Now, that doesn't pay as well even as Spotify, so that's not very good, but it is also the best streaming service. YouTube Premium is the best streaming service. If I had to choose just one between Netflix, HBO, Disney, all that stuff, I would choose YouTube Premium because it's such a better experience. And that would say that my number one artist was Playboi Carti. I don't know, I guess I listened to that song All Red a bunch. And apparently my number 2 song of the year is the Godzilla theme song. Okay? Now, why is that? That's because I do a game with my toddler where I pretend to be Godzilla and I put on bum 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 bum. Okay, do you feel the vitality and the joy in my life that is being communicated, that communicates the wrong thing through these rapped things? Because that's not the music I listen to the most. And the main problem that I had, the technical problem, is just that we have all this old media, you know? I mean, I have a lot of vinyl, okay? I have a huge CD library right here. You know what? I'll show you. Right here. Right in here. Right in there. Child lock. Right there. That's my CD library. There's my Dred Zeppelin CD, you know? So what, that doesn't count? I got tapes. I've got the radio. You know, there's these things in cars called radios. You can listen to local college radio. You can listen to top 40 radio. This doesn't... What about MP3s, y'all? I mean, I know I'm Mr. Old Guy here. It's funny, but liking MP3s makes you older than if you like vinyl. Let's dig into that sometime. Not today, but sometime. You know, I bought the new Skye album when it came out before he passed. I bought it on MP3 because that's how he released his music, because he knew that his music was valuable, and if you cared about him, you'd give him $20 for his amazing album, which I did, and it's an MP3, and according to Tidal, and according to YouTube Music, and if I had Spotify, according to Spotify, I never listened to it once. So those are the technical reasons, that it does not actually reflect a life filled with music. But then really it's the spiritual reasons. This is what really bugs me, you know? And again, let me caveat this again by saying I'm a complete goddamn hypocrite. Okay? I am a complete hypocrite. If you are sitting here and saying, yes, guys, shut up, just show me your Spotify Wrapped, I totally understand you, okay? But I still, you know, I participate in a lot of things I don't agree with. That doesn't mean I shouldn't describe why I disagree with them, okay? But the number one spiritual reason is, does everything have to be quantified? Maybe you're too young to be in the workplace or, like, you know, in a career. But the longer I've been working, the more I see letters being turned into numbers, okay? The more I see things that should not really be quantified, things that should be qualified, turned into quantities. Data, everything data. Quantitative, quantity over quality in every single aspect of human life. And the only way to determine quality is if you can turn it into a number that can be quantity. It is a series of metrics, and it is crushing our O-U-R, it is crushing our soul. And I say that as an educator. Do you know how much time a college professor spends looking at numbers and spreadsheets to determine the effectiveness of their teaching? There's good parts to that. There are. But also, God damn it, you know it, you feel it, we are being formatted. We are being formatted and we are being flattened because it is easier to sell to us when we are formatted. When our genres are picked, when our taste is dictated, and when we agree with the dictates of that taste, we get flattened. Everything is easier to get our money, to get our participation, to get our docility, okay? That's one spiritual aspect. The other one is this, like, taste signaling. I think that's what I call it, taste signaling. You know, like, hey, just like what you like. There's no such thing as a guilty pleasure. Frankly, I think it's great that people listen to music and that they enjoy it and that they get excited about it. That's awesome. But does it have to have a number? Do we have to shoot for the percentage? You know, I am a top 500 elusive listener for how much I listen to this album on streaming. You know, I mean, I think about what this would have done to me and my friends in high school. And this is why I'm trying to be sympathetic. Me and my friends in high school, if this existed, we totally would have been obsessed with it. We would have been thinking about it. We would have, and this is the problem. Once you enjoy Spotify Wrapped, do not, you kids use the word cap. When I was in high school, cap meant to shoot somebody, like shoot their hat off, you know, or put a cap as in a cap in a gun, cap their ass. You say cap as lying. It is 100% cap to say that if you use Spotify Wrapped, it does not on some level dictate what you listen to. Of course it does, because you know that your tastes, your private tastes, what you do in the privacy of your own home, in the privacy of your own ears, in the privacy of your own car, is going to be transmitted to the world. So I tried to think, what would I be like in high school? And I wouldn't have the sense of self to be able to handle that. I would have been curating. Now, of course, I was still curating. I was making mixtapes, and I made a whole video actually last year all about the way that mixtapes were this way of signaling your taste to your friends. But like, here's the question. In 1993, did Skye in high school listen more to Neil Young or Biz Markie? I don't have an answer for you. I'm sure those were my number one and number two, but maybe it was the Rolling Stones. I don't know. I just don't know. I'm more interested in the memory and the thought of it than I am with the actual numbers. But if I had the numbers, those would become the focus of my thoughts. And in talking to my daughter, who's been telling me to do a Spotify Wrapped video for years now, it turns out that people do curated playlists where they intentionally create playlists that they'll sometimes play in their sleep to make sure that their public face reflects how they think of themselves. Do we not see how sad this is? Does this not hurt you on some level spiritually? The idea that people are so obsessed with their external face that they're going to cover up the truth? But mostly, my biggest issue is that it really promotes the streaming model. It is the best advertisement for the streaming model, and especially for Spotify in particular. It puts forth this idea that it has to count. It has to count. It has to be a number, goddammit. I'm a silly man. Okay? I'm not just a silly man because I'm sitting in my bathrobe in my living room talking to you about Spotify, but I'm a silly man because I am liable to fall for this stuff as well. In 2000, I read an article saying that in order to be healthy, you had to walk 10,000 steps a day. Turns out that's a little bit bunk. I don't care. I bought a pedometer and kept it on my belt for years, counting every single one of my steps. It was a sad thing to me when I had to, take a shower that I couldn't have the pedometer with me because it would count that way. Okay? And that kind of counting, that quantitativeness is really, it's a human instinct, especially for a certain kind of, it's probably something neuroatypical about me. I don't know. Never been diagnosed, but doesn't mean there's nothing there. But the idea that we have minutes, and we have plays and we have numbers and it can become a competition and you can see what percentage you're in. I'm thinking of all the poor Taylor Swift fans who are such big fans that they listen to vinyl and they listen to streaming. So every time they listen to Tortured Poets Department on vinyl, they are depriving themselves of the statistic of listening to it the most on Spotify. They are potentially running into the danger of Taylor Swift not being their number one listen. Do you understand the kind of bizarre thinking, this kind of competitive capitalistic hellscape that we're all signing ourselves up for? And then I was watching someone's video on it, doing research and also enjoying it. There's a listening streak. There's a listening streak, so that means if you're on Spotify and you want to communicate that you really like a band to the whole world, you have to keep that in your head. There's a little space in your world, where you could remember that the capital of Nevada is. Put in the comments if you remember the capital of Nevada. 1 second. That's right, Carson City. That might go away because inside your head you're like, oh, okay, I have to listen to. What? Sign Crusher's Motorist? Yeah, I have to listen to Sign Crusher's Motorist today to have a 365-day streak going. Okay? And also, it's weird because it's not on December, so I don't know, I guess Kendrick won't win. And also there's this whole sense of what about Watch the Party Die? Right? How many people out there are thinking that Kendrick is going to be their number one listen, but he released so much stuff on Instagram, right, and on YouTube, that even in the modern world, even if you're not like me, even if you're not, Grandpa Skye sitting there talking about, oh, I bought the vinyl of Keith Jarrett, blah, blah, blah. Even if you're just keeping up with stuff, how many songs are not even on the streaming services? And then do those count? What counts? And on the biggest sort of spiritual level, it is this move towards freedom. Freedom from collectivism. individual freedom. It is a powerful tool to promote not just Spotify, not just streaming, but the cult of individuality. The cult of individuality, which is turning us all into the exact same. It was weird. I was watching this interview with John Lennon and Yoko Ono given by Marshall McLuhan. I was preparing for a Beatles video I did a couple days ago. Yesterday? I don't know. Time has no meaning. And Yoko was talking about that. Yoko was talking about how everybody wants to be different, and that makes us all the same. And we are obsessed with being different. And this individualism cult is bred into this idea because, like, it dissuades family plans. Because I bought a family plan, and because I enjoy so much sharing music that I don't get to share this with you. And as you get older, as you have families, you are going to be dissuaded from it's okay, you can just walk out. She's got to go to school. She's trying to walk out like a ninja. What do you think of the video so far?
It's good, yeah.
Any points you think I should make?
I don't know.
Okay, well then I'll just finish up here. It dissuades family plans. It dissuades passing the aux, right? I mean, that's the old term, right? Like, it dissuades people choosing music to listen to. And the thing is, it might be small right now. It might be small right now. It might be that it's just a passing thought. But as this music listening habit becomes ingrained in people's mentality, okay? As everything gets flattened, as Spotify's monopoly grows, and that's what this is. This is actually growing their monopoly. Because you're less likely to listen to a different service if it does not have this wrapped. It becomes the center point of the musical year, more than the Grammys, okay? More than the Video Music Awards. As this monopolistic push happens, we just will become increasingly dedicated to one platform, one of the lowest paying platforms. We'll increasingly become dedicated to our individual choices and this narcissistic exercise of self-presentation, okay? That's why I don't like it. Now, what should we do instead? I mean, I know this is going to keep going, and I'm just screaming at clouds, but I would like just to know everyone's top 3 albums. And if you don't want them to be new albums, just say, what did you listen to the most this year? And you might be wrong, That's part of what drives me crazy about this is when you watch people do their Spotify Wrapped, like, oh, am I going to be surprised? Fuck you, you're surprised. If you think you listened to if you think you listened to Rodeo more than you listened to Brat, then you listen to Rodeo more than you listen to Brat. I don't care what the time says. I don't care what the numbers say. If that's how it feels to you, if that's how you experience the music, if that music hits you harder, if that's how you felt about your year, then that's how you felt. And those numbers can't tell you anything different, okay? They cannot tell you anything different. It's just, you know what I'm saying? Like, just allow yourself to just say. So tell me in the comments, what are the artists or the albums that you listened to the most this year? And I don't care what the numbers are. What does this year feel like to you? Okay? Now listen, in order to kind of play on this, yesterday I did something on Instagram where I made my own Spotify top list, the Spot of Skye. Okay? So there's the Spot of Skye Wrapped list. You see a little picture of Elmo there. And my top artist was the Beatles, because that's just the reality. Because we had XM radio in my car. We don't have it anymore. Sometimes you just get it and it goes away. I'm going to get it for my wife for Christmas, because that's all she wants to listen to. We get into the car and we listen to the Beatles channel. We listen to Meg Griffin. If you know, you know. You listen to Meg Griffin's annoying ass talk in between songs. And I have listened to the Beatles nonstop. I have sung Yellow Submarine 1,000 times. I have sung Help 10,000 times with my daughter. It just happens to be the music that's everywhere. I don't listen to it most on streaming. I listen to it on CDs. I listen to it on the radio. I watch documentaries. I hear it in the supermarket. I hear it everywhere. That's the way music is. It's everywhere. It's collective. It's what we do together. Okay, my number 2 artist obviously was Kendrick Lamar. My number 3 artist was Kanye. Probably. And I don't even choose to listen to Kanye that much, but any artist who released 2 albums this year, I'm going to listen to more, because that's the other thing. As a music reviewer, everything's all screwy. Everything's super screwy in how I listen to music because I don't really get to spend that much time with music I love. Oh no, that's my daughter. Yikes. Okay, I gotta go. Uh, anyway, so you can go on Instagram and read the rest of mine. Actually, I'll pause this and I'll come back to it. All right, everything's really chaotic. Well, geez, all right, super chaotic. I gotta go. Okay, things may be cooler now. Anyways, where was I? So I was giving you my spot of Skye. And so this is what I suggest as an alternate. You know, really think about the way you interact with music, the way it is. And I don't want the Beatles to be my most listened to album. That is very what you kids say, NPC music. But like, you know, maybe that's the kind of year I'm having. Maybe that's a reflection of the life that I live, you know? Again, I don't want Kanye to be number 3, but he probably is, realistically. George Balashevich, you know, my wife's favorite musician. I listen to his music quite a bit. That's probably up there. At least it's how it feels. At least it's how it feels. And same thing with The Smile, just like Kanye, they released 2 projects. But it's my songs that I find the most interesting, you know? Number 1 is definitely Help, because I sing that with my 2-year-old, because I'm teaching her how to sing, I'm teaching her how to watch music, I'm teaching her how to think about music, and that's the song that she's been drawn to. So I play it on guitar, she'll like bang a drum or sing along, and we'll watch the movie, and we'll watch performances on YouTube, and we'll have it everywhere. And then Not Like Us. Is that actually the song I listened to the second most this year? I don't know. It sure feels like it. You know? Doesn't that count for something? Feeling. And then number 3 is Potty Time by Elmo. Okay, I'd never once listened to this on a streaming service, but I've listened to this song hundreds of times because I've been potty training. The 2-year-old is over there who's not very potty trained. Thank you very much. And that song, Potty Time, gotta get down low. Potty time, we gotta go with the flow. Potty time, you could do it, I know. Right? Potty time. And that's just the reality that I'm living in. Maybe the song you've listened to the most is like some song that they play at your work often. You know? Who knows? And then obviously Hot to Go because I had so many dance parties with my 2-year-old. And then Sur le pont d'Avignon. The worst moment in music this year is when I learned that the Makami album did not contain my favorite track off of the Makami album. Anyways, it's like, dude, I know you're mysterious, but did you have to be mysterious like that? And wait, what am I even thinking? Obviously, Sunday Morning is my number 1 song because I listen to it every week when I have pancakes. Anyways, that's the idea. That's the idea behind my video. I just made some parfait for the 2-year-old. She's doing well. She woke up a half an hour earlier than she usually does. What is my suggestion? You just give your top 3 of what you feel. Like describe 2024 in 3 albums, songs, or artists. They could be a mix-up. It can be 1 song, 1 album, 1 artist. That's what I want, okay? Can we do that? Can we do how music makes us feel, not how we can quantify it for some ghouls in Sweden? Okay? Ghouls in Sweden should not be the people making the most money off of music, okay? At the very least, there should be ghouls in New York who are like exploiting artists directly, you know, doing the work of finding the artist to exploit. You know what I'm saying? I mean, what I would prefer is a model like Makami's model or a model like Ka, where we are all able to support them. Those are my Patreons to help me to buy music. Listen, I have 2. Listen. Over here, that's all the vinyl that I bought this year, okay? You know, I went to a record store and I bought Aerosmith's first album for $3 because that album frickin' rules, and I haven't thought about it in a long time, okay? That's not going to make it on my Spotify Wrapped. I bought the George Harrison album. Not a very good one, but I listened to it a few times. I bought the Common album produced by Kanye because I never listened to it, and I really like that show Silo, and I think it's funny. That guy's also a great rapper. I've never owned In Through the Outdoor by Led Zeppelin, not once, no matter how big of a Led Zeppelin fan I am. You know? And what? I don't even know if this album is on streaming. This is one of the biggest bands in the history of Yugoslavia, and my wife really likes their music, even though I don't, but I listen to this album. Scandalous cover. A video is coming out about this eventually. You know, I got a friend who's like a Prince expert, and she gave me this. Great album. Never streamed it once. This was the year where I finally figured out what was up with MF Doom. Listen to this album, I don't know, 20, 30 times? Who knows how many? The Jane Remover album, really enjoying that on vinyl. I got this, I didn't even review it the year it came out. You know, Thundergone Thursday, support an artist like Ploho. So anyways, Let's just do something more organic, more human. Fine, you can have your Spotify Wrapped, but then also give me your Skye ripped, okay? Can you do that for me? Just tell me in the comments. I will read every single one of them. I will find it interesting. That is way more interesting to me than the number of times and numbers. All right, all set. Are you ready for your parfait? I'll take that silence as I better go. Until next time, there's the camera.